Are we all good? Welcome to what we're doing today. Just TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Good morning, TikTok. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. How are we all? Are we all good? Have we all had a good? I've not seen some of you since Tuesday morning. So have we had a good couple of days? How has your last couple of days gone? We're at Thursday already. Have we got to Thursday already? This week is absolutely flying by, but it is Thursday. It is the 5th of June. It feels like it's the 5th of October looking at the weather outside because it is awful today. But anyway, we are here and we are all good. Should we do straight away a top 5 on TikTok this morning? Why the hell not? Remember, guys, this is a weight loss live. So if you've got any questions whatsoever regarding weight loss, health, fitness, ask me what you want. If I can answer it, I will do my very best to answer it. Right, let's get straight into the top 5 this morning. Dodds is in at number 1. Kirsty B's in at number 2, Lou's in at number 3, Faye's in at number 4, and Mama Bear is in at number 5. Good morning, guys. You are my top 5 this morning. Thank you, as always. Coming straight on the old TikToks, coming and saying hello. Sheila, good morning. Steph GC, morning. Ryan's in, morning, boss. Night out in the Western Saloon. Oh, you went up to the Strip. Ryan is in Benidorm and they ventured all the way down to the Strip. The Western Saloon is a really good bar. It's got some really good bands on. And you can kind of, if you sent a Strip there, so you definitely see some sights. Hope you had a good one, mate. Paula, good morning. Anna, good morning. Donna, good morning. Podcast 53, is weight loss all in your head? Amazing. Thank you, Zay. Not a problem at all. I'm going to try. I'll see how today goes. The way it's looking at the moment, it might happen. I am going to try and do another podcast today. I've only got 2 weeks left, really, of doing podcasts until we're into season 3. Not that the seasons change anything, but I started the podcast in July 2023. And I think we're on episode 54 at the moment in terms of the old podcast. So, I'm going to try and get 55 and 56 out before the end of the year, before we move into what I would call season 3, as it were. Anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast, and again, hopefully it's triggered something in your mind to help you on your weight loss journey. Amy, good morning. You can find my podcast, by the way. There are links in my link tree, so TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. It is the RLB Weight Loss Podcast. It's on every platform: Google, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music. It's on YouTube as well. It's absolutely everywhere. So if you've not seen it, please go check it out. Jackie's in. Good morning. Callum, good morning. Anyone else in this morning? No, have we reached the end of that? Oh, Maureen's in as well. Good morning. Have I missed anyone? I don't think I have. If I have missed you, it is nothing personal. Please don't take it that way. Anna's on YouTube. Been meaning to sign up, as you are aware, but I go on holiday tomorrow, so I may as well do it after holiday. My mother is signed up too. She's on Slimming World, but wants to start calorie counting. As Slimming World are affecting her mental health with the guilt tripping since she's lost 2 stone. That's great. I've lost 4 stone from calorie counting, but I use calorie deficit calculators. It started to become unsustainable. She's lost the 2 stone from Slimming World. Yeah. So you will lose weight on any weight loss method, right? And this is where, I might do some videos and I'll say Slimming World's a waste of time. And I will get people that will jump on and defend it. And they'll literally go, well, I know Anas is defending Slimming World, but what he's saying there is my mum's lost 2 stone on Slimming World. You will do. It's a weight loss method. Right? Any weight loss method you stick to, you'll lose weight on it. That's the point of it. It is a weight loss method, especially weight loss methods that have been around 60 years, like Slimming World has. Right? You're gonna lose weight on it. The main issue with fad diets is not the fact that you don't lose weight on them. You do. The issue with fad diets is they are unsustainable. Right? And they are very, very hard long term for a lot of people to stick to. Why? because they don't encourage lifestyle change. They're too, they're not something that you can incorporate day to day for long periods of time for various reasons. In terms of Slimming World, Slimming World's a very guilt trippy, right? Guilt trippy, that is a word, honestly, kind of weight loss method because you use sins. And even though they spell it SYNS, they know what they're doing. By using the word sin, it gives you a connotation that you are doing something wrong. Even if you are eating food within your sins, right, you still feel you are doing something wrong eating those sins. Now, alongside, and those sins are too restrictive, right? They're too restrictive. You know, you get 12 sins a day, and a flipping chocolate bar that's 220 calories is like 12 sins. It's like, how does that? So literally something that's 220 calories, which is literally 11% of the recommended daily intake for calories for an adult that doesn't really move very much, literally wipes out your higher calorie foods, as it were. And don't get me wrong, there's lots of other nonsense around Slimming World, like a mashed banana is sins, whereas a whole banana isn't a sin. And you see all these people try to explain it. Well, the sugars break down quicker when you mash the banana. Your body's only ever seen a mashed banana. It's never ever seen a whole banana. You don't, open up your gullet like a heron eating a fish and just swallow a whole banana. What do you think these things do? Your body's only ever seen mashed potato. It's only ever seen mashed banana, right? It's only ever seen mashed carrots. It's only ever seen mashed steak, chicken, because you had these and you chew it up and it mixes with saliva and that allows it to go down into your stomach, right? So the fact of whether you mash it before you eat it or you chew it up and mash it and then swallow, it's exactly the same when it hits the stomach. Now, if their reasoning was, do you know why we sin a bit? And this is the only it's still absolutely flipping bonkers, right? But the only semi-plausible reason where you would say to someone, you need to watch blended banana compared to whole banana is it's probably easier to overconsume. And what I mean by that is you might put, some milk in a blender, 2 bananas, blob of peanut butter, blitz it up and drink it. And it's quite easy to drink calories, right? Whereas when you are eating a banana, it takes a little bit longer. And not many people sit there and go, oh, I fancy eating 3 bananas in a row, right? And a banana is about 80 calories. Obviously, it depends on size and weight, but on average, a banana is about 80 calories. So not many people go, oh, let's have a banana. Do you know what? I think I'll have another one of them. Very easy to take 2 bananas and whack it in a blender and turn it into a smoothie. So that would be the only plausible reason, right? But they come out with all this, it increases the sugar, it reduces the fiber. It does none of that because your body's only ever seen a mashed banana, right? So, and that's just one thing with Slimming World. The free foods thing, and then just looking at Slimming World plan in itself is we can then look at actual your weigh days, going to see consultants. How do they treat you? I'm not saying every consultant is like this, but we hear lots of stories about consultants that demonize people. You've gone on holiday, you've gained a pound. Have you gained a pound? Have you not followed the plan on holiday? No, Barbara, I haven't followed the plan on holiday. I'm on my flipping holidays, love. 1 pina colada is 15 sins. I'm only allowed 12 and I've had 6 pina coladas a day. So not happening, right? But, there's no sort of, it's just over. I mean, I could talk about it all day. But I'm not just talking about Slimming World, yeah? Weight Watchers is kind of the same. Intermittent fasting, the ketogenic diet. There's all reasons why these methods are unsustainable. But you stick to the ketogenic diet for 6 months, you will lose a considerable amount of weight because by taking carbohydrates out of your diet, for most people, that reduces their calorie intake by about 50%, right? By sinning food, and the foods that are sinned are generally high palatable, calorie-dense foods that we do tend to overconsume. That will massively reduce your calorie intake. Even though you can eat as much pasta and potatoes, No one actually has a weight issue from eating pasta or potatoes, right? I guarantee that, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying pasta isn't calorie dense. It is fairly, for what you get as a put, like 100 grams of dry pasta isn't like the biggest portion of pasta in the world, and it's 350 calories. But, let's use a little bit of logic. One of the healthiest nations in the world is the Italians. They don't have a weight issue. Are there fat people in Italy? 100% there are. There are fat people in every single country in the world, right? There are people with weight issues in every single country in the world. Countries that suffer famine, not every person in that country suffers famine. Generally countries that suffer famine have a very big rich-poor divide. So you might look at Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a very wealthy country. It just has a massive rich-poor divide. So the people that are very wealthy in Ethiopia, that sector, there will be overweight people. But Ethiopia as a whole does not have an issue with being overweight, right? Italy, one of the healthiest nations in the world. On a whole, they do not have an issue with their weight. They are the biggest consumers of pasta. So to sit here and go, pasta's why I'm fat, doesn't really work like that. Yeah. It's about why we have a weight issue is overall lifestyle. That is why we have a weight issue. And part of our overall lifestyle is yes, part of it is what we eat, right? A part of it is the amount we eat. Yeah. But a big chunk of it is also the amount we move on a day-to-day basis. A big chunk of our lifestyle is how we handle certain situations. Mental health. Our lifestyle can determine our mental health, right? Can have a massive impact on it, So yeah, why we have a weight issue and why our weight issues have developed to where they are in 2025, because a lot of people will come online and go, well, we didn't have Ben and Jerry's in 1960 and no one had a weight issue in 1960. Correct. Right. And then a lot of people go, well, in 1960, we didn't have the preservatives in bread that we have now. No, we did. Loads of bread. Don't get me wrong, things have developed and bread's become like fortified and this, that, and the other. Fortified bread just means they put extra iron and vitamins into it and stuff like that. Brilliant, right? Those added things going into, a lot of people reading, a lot of people go, bread's got 20 ingredients in it. Bread should only have 4 ingredients. That is just something that Eddie Abu started saying about 2 years ago, and everyone's just jumped on his bandwagon. Like, why can't, if 60 years ago bread had 4 ingredients, right, and someone went, do you know what? That bread could have 9 ingredients because you can add iron to it, you can add vitamin A and vitamin B and vitamin C to it, right? You can also add vitamin E to it, right? And that improves the health parameters. So now let's take this for what a great idea. Let's add this into bread, right? So some of the additives that aren't the perfect 4 ingredients in bread, someone put the other day, I've worked in a bakery and I know bread only has 4 nonsense. I could go to any bakery in this country and I guarantee my local bakers, we've got an artisan bakers in the next village. The bread's amazing. Right, it doesn't have many preservatives in that bread, and I'll tell you why, because it goes off in 2 days. But that's why you pay £3.50 a loaf, right? Whereas when you go to Aldi and buy a loaf of bread, it's 75p, right? I don't mind having some preservatives in bread because it means I can afford to buy it, right? And that is something that people don't think about, right? But the bread, they bake their bread on site from scratch in my artisan bakery, and it has a list of ingredients, and none of their breads have just 4 ingredients in them. Right? They do add other bits and pieces. So we've got into this thing of just like, this should have this and this should just have that. No, it shouldn't. Right? Bread should be fortified, same as cereals. Add iron to them. Add B vitamins to it. Great, that improves our health because a lot of people are iron deficient in this country. A lot of people are vitamin B deficient in this country, right? So certain things can be added, but we've got into this thing where we're comparing like 60, 70 years ago, we didn't have a weight issue and we do now, and it's because we have preservatives in bread. No, it's not. It's because the lifestyle that we led in the 60s compared to the lifestyle that we lead now has led us to consume, yes, more calories, and has led us to consume less calories. Think about how the majority of people in 1960 got to work. Think about how the majority of people in 2025 get to work, right? In 1960, it will have been like that. Now, it might have been like that to go to a bus stop and get on a bus. It might have been like that to go to a train station and get on a train. But the majority of people, the start of their journey from their house to whether it's a bus stop or a train station or their office or factory would have started on foot. Now, don't get me wrong, it starts on foot now, but how the majority of people get to work now is they walk out their front door to their car and drive. That means we burn a lot less calories on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. The majority of people in the evening nowadays sit on their bottoms watching Netflix for hours on end. Right? Couldn't do that in 1960. Right? You had to make your own entertainment. Now, don't get me wrong, you might have listened to the wireless, you might have had a TV in the corner that you still watched a little bit, but it certainly wasn't as entertaining as it is now. And you would have done more things out and about. In 1960, if you wanted shopping, right, you went and got it. You got off your bottom, you walked out of your front door, and you either went to your local shop. They didn't have supermarkets then. And because not everyone in 1960 had fridge freezers, they had to go every other day because the butter went off, the milk went off, right? We didn't have things to store stuff for long periods of time. So people went shopping every other day. They walked up their street, got bags of shopping, and walked home. That burned calories. Do you know how a good amount of people shop nowadays? Using this. I can see, do you know how many calories it burns for me to go to Tesco? Right? Me going to Tesco burns about 250 calories. I do about 1,500 steps. I'm also doing a bit of exercise because I'm loading a trolley, unloading a trolley, packing bags up. Right? I go to Tesco, mate. Let's say you went to Tesco once a week, right? And you burn 250 calories. If you're unfit and unhealthy, you'll burn more than that. Right? Let's say you go to Tesco and burn 250 calories doing your shopping an hour. Right? Walking around, packing your bags, doing this, that, and the other. Right? Times that by 52. Right? That is like 15, 16. Let me do it right before someone jumps on at me. You're going to be burning about 13, 14,000 calories a year doing your shopping. If you, since whatever time, now get your shopping delivered to your house, you are missing out on 14,000 calorie burn a year. Right? 14,000 calories is 4 pounds of body fat. How many things are you doing now in 2025 compared to what they did in 1960 that stops you burning 14,000 calories a year? Because if that's just 5 things, you're burning 70,000 calories a year less than someone in 1960. That is 1.5 stone of body fat, the equivalent of energy. No wonder we've got a weight issue nowadays, because we are lazy. And we're not lazy on purpose. It's just how things have evolved, right? It's just how things have evolved over time to allow us to be lazy. Getting shopping delivered to our house, using cars all the time, watching Netflix all the time, getting Just Eat deliveries. All these things, you wanted a takeaway in 1960, you walked to a chippy, you walked back. That was about it. Now, if you lived in a big city, there might have been, immigration was happening in 1960. So, yes, there might have been some Indian restaurants. There might have been some Chinese restaurants. There might have been, a few other bits and pieces knocking about. But predominantly in the 60s, you wanted a takeaway, you wanted a fish and chip supper, and you'd walk and get it. Now you just go on an app. All right? So all these people on social media, I don't know how I've ended up down this route. I've gone from a slimming world going down this route. All these people on social media that go, we're now fat in 2025 because we consume more ultra. Yes, there are more ultra processors, but it is generally down to our whole lifestyle changing, right? It's not as simple as preservatives in bread. It's just nonsense. It's nonsensical, but people believe it, and it is what it is. Right, there we go. There's my rant for 20 minutes. So we get into so Kate on Facebook. I honestly love listening to you. It makes everything so logical for us that have an unhealthy relationship with. Thanks so much. You're more than welcome. And I am a logical thinker. And maybe it's to my detriment at times, but I think with certain things, we get wrapped up in so much nonsense, right? Because there is why are there so many lies told about weight loss? Because lies get more like attention than the truth does. It really is that simple. Controversy, shocking things that are shocking, right? It gets more controversy. I've saved a video yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to upload it, like do a stitch to it or something like that. I don't really like getting massively into like beefs with other creators, but this one really, it really wound me up. It's this lady. She's a personal trainer, and I've never seen anyone swear as much in a video, and this is another thing that's become a habit. Like, don't get me wrong, people swear, I swear, right? But she's just like, F this and F that. And it's like, because I'm very sweary and very shouty, does that mean I've got, listen to me? Maybe it does. Maybe people like that sort of thing. But she come on, and the first thing, and this is what caught me, the first line is, you've been lied to. Calorie deficit doesn't burn fat, right? And I'm like, straight away, I'm like, oh, here we go. Right, now don't get me wrong, that part is true. And this is why, and this is what first caught me about it. I thought, oh, she's going to explain what a calorie deficit is. She doesn't. She just goes into this BS rant about how she goes into this rant saying dieting works but doesn't. Like, and I kind of get in some ways what she was coming from, but the way she put it across, but then her overall message of the video was just shocking, right? But she's like, basically, yeah, calorie deficit doesn't burn fat. Dieting doesn't burn fat. She's absolutely spot on with that. And what she's basically trying to say there is calorie deficit doesn't lose fat. So straight away, someone that gets fat burning confused with fat loss loses all credibility to me. If you don't understand the difference between fat burning and fat loss, then you should not be coaching anyone or giving any advice around weight loss, fat loss, and all this, that, and the other. Because fat burning and fat loss do they run side by side in a way? Yeah. But calorie deficit does not burn body fat. You burn body fat 24, and then I think she goes on about how you need to teach your body to be a bit like Eddie Abbott. Nonsense. You burn fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's 119 of you on this live now, right? You're all burning body fat, whatever you're doing. Whether you're watching me on a treadmill, you're burning body fat. Whether you're sat at a desk like I am now, I'm burning body fat. Just been asleep for 7.5 hours. I was burning body fat, right? When I take the dogs for a walk, I burn body fat. When I'm in the gym, I'm burning body fat. Now, certain activities we do will burn more body fat than others, depending on what our heart rate is at. You burn body fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? What a calorie deficit means, it's how we describe the amount of calories we burn compared to the amount of calories we consume. That's it, right? And her saying, you burn body fat whether you're in a calorie deficit, a calorie surplus, or a calorie maintenance. Doesn't matter. You burn body fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've got two energy sources. And the only people that don't burn body fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week are unfortunately the people that are dead. Everyone else does, right? Basically, when we burn calories for energy to move and function properly, right? We always use our stored energy. You always use stored body fat for that process. Yeah. And when you eat something, what you eat then gets converted back into body fat and put back into your fat stores. And if you burn more body fat than you replace it with through food, your fat stores reduce. That's how weight loss happens. All right. But anyway, I might stitch it because anyone that watches it and they listen to her, and she comes on and she goes, I've just took on a new PT client. They did this diet. Dieting doesn't work. You don't lose body fat dieting. They did this diet and lost 4.5 stone, right? So you don't lose body fat dieting, but this client did this diet and lost 4.5 stone. They then stopped doing this diet and put it all back on, right? So they lost weight dieting, yeah, like I've just spoke about there. But because the diet was unsustainable, right, they basically catapulted backwards and regressed. Very, very common, right? But don't say you don't lose weight dieting. You can only lose weight through dieting or through going into a calorie deficit. Just say this person's used an unsustainable method. Now, as a PT, I'm going to hopefully teach them a sustainable method, something that they can keep to longer than what they did before to lose 4.5 stone. Or, the way they lost 4.5 stone, they crash dieted. They did it in 3.5 months. When you crash diet and over restrict yourself for 3.5 months, you're going to regress backwards. Most people do, which is why, again, how many of you guys watching this live now? There's 111 of you. From the time you went on your, I ask this all the time, 111 of you, from the time you went on your very first diet, right? Might have been 10 years ago. Are you heavier now or lighter? Dieting can cause weight gain, right? While you're dieting, you lose body fat, but the regression of a lot of diets, the bounce back, causes the weight gain. So you might have felt like you've been dieting for 15 years, yet you're 3 stone heavier now than when you first started dieting, right? I get that, but that's because so many diets are unsustainable, overly restrictive, and they don't, whether you'd started dieting, I'll be honest with you, whether you started dieting or not 15 years ago, you probably would have gained 3 stone. You might have actually gained a bit more, right? Because again, it's, poor lifestyles, poor mental health, all these are contributing factors. I know I'm going off on one this morning, but I quite like it when I go on. I've been on half an hour. I've not even spoke to anyone yet. Right, let me scan up and let me go through some comments. You're probably like, no, we've just shut up, Neil, and let you just waffle on. It's what I do, isn't it? I was actually explaining this banana thing to someone last week, yeah, and they'll look at you with a blank face at times. Christ, I've explained this to my dad, and he just doesn't get it. He thinks pizza is fattening. He stops it completely. Yeah, exactly. And again, it's just very unhealthy relationships with food. This is fattening, that's fattening. No, certain foods are calorie dense, certain foods are less calorie. Certain foods are more calorie dense, certain foods are less calorie dense, right? And if we overconsume foods that are more calorie dense, then there's a chance we're going to be in a calorie surplus and get fatter. If we consume more foods that are less calorie dense, that are more nutritionally dense, there's a chance we're not going to get fatter. And if we can push ourselves into a calorie deficit, we'll actually get thinner, right? But again, it's just an unhealthy relationship with food. I could pull out 100 people, 100 people survey, like bloody Family Fortunes. If I went out today and said, right, I need 100 volunteers to come to this point now, and you'll get £10 each. We're not volunteering, then are we? Get paid for it. Doesn't matter. Right? Just I want first 100 people to come, you get a tenner each, but I need you to stand here for 20 minutes. Right? So I get 100 people. If I sort of said to it, right, I want you to put your hand up, this makes you fat, right? Hands down if it makes you thin, right? And if I held up a pizza, does this make you fat or thin? The majority of people put their hand up. Right? If I held up an apple and said, does this make you fat or thin? Does this make you thin? Or, hands up if it makes you thin. Majority of hands will go up. Pizza, hands up if it makes you fat. The majority of hands will go up. Because this is our association with food. This makes me fat, this makes me thin. It doesn't work like that. It's all about energy balance. It's all about the amount of calories you are consuming. Now, if you're going to eat a lot of pizza, like pizza every night, right, alongside everything else, there's a very good chance that it's going to contribute you consuming more calories than you should be doing. Likewise, if you eat a pizza once a week, but the majority of your diet is fruits and veggies and lean proteins and low-fat dairies, there's a very good chance you're going to be in a calorie deficit. And even having that one odd calorie-dense food isn't going to disrupt the deficit, isn't going to counterbalance the deficit you've put you in, right? In fact, and it'll probably improve your consistency because there's nothing wrong with saying, I enjoy a pizza. I will sit here now and tell you this. I enjoy eating a pizza more than I enjoy eating an apple, right? I'm not saying I don't enjoy eating apples, but a pizza gives me more joy, right? But I'm fully aware that I can't eat pizza as much as I could eat apples. Otherwise, I'll end up being 37 stone again. But I also understand that I can still eat some pizza. I can eat apples. I can eat a burger, just like I can eat carrots and grapes and chicken breast and this, that, and the other. All about balance. Joan, good morning. Denise, good morning. Chicken with spices from Aldi is a sin. It's just nonsensical, a lot of it. James is here, morning, mate. I might have said morning to you already. And they did more movement. 100%, mate. So that's it. This is me going on ranting about, 60s to now. I always say this. If I could teleport back to 1960 with a pedometer, like an Apple Watch, any sort of pedometer, right? On a Monday morning, right? So on a Monday morning, I can teleport back to 1960. And again, I can just pick out 100 random people and say, can you wear this for a week, please? Don't take it off your wrist. Right? It's just a basic pedometer. The battery will last 7 days. I want you to put it on your wrist and not take it off for a week. Right? On that same Monday morning, I teleported back here from 1960 and found 100 random people in this country and gave them the same thing. I said, whack that on your wrist. Don't take it off for a week. Right? A week later, I went back to 1960 and I gathered up all the pedometers that everyone's worn in the 60s. And then I get back here and I gather up all the pedometers everyone's worn in 2025. I guarantee the numbers are at least double. At least double. Right? I reckon the 100 random people here that I've got, I reckon we are probably going to be talking over the space of a week, the average daily steps will be about 6,000, maybe up to 7. Right? From the 60s, I reckon the average steps for a week will be at least 14,000 a day. At least. Average. You know, will there be some people from the 60s that do 7 or 8,000? Yeah. Will there be some people from the 60s that do 20 odd thousand that are working in factories and this time? Yeah. Right? From the 2025, will there be certain people out of them 100 that do 20,000 steps a day that I've picked? Probably. There'll be the odd one. But will there be quite a few that do 2,000 steps? Yeah. You know, so our movement has dropped massively. Our calorie burn has dropped massively. We've got to a point in life where, like, I do 11,500 steps a day and I go to the gym and exercise at least 5 times a week. Who thinks that's abnormal? Who think that's just an extreme? Like, to do that much movement. And forget the fact that I'm exercising, right? Who thinks me doing 11,500 steps a day is abnormal? Like, it's about 90 minutes of movement throughout the entire day. Like, if you get out of bed at 7:30 in the morning, right? If you get out of bed at 7:30 in the morning and you get back in bed at 9:30 at night, right? That's 14 hours. That is a 14-hour period, right, of time. If over those 14 hours you did 7 minutes of moving, 7 minutes of moving per hour. So out of 60 minutes, you spent just 7 of those just mooching about. Might be about your kitchen. It might be about, the office. Just 7 minutes, right? You would blitz 10,000 steps a day. You would blitz it, right? Now, you know, and that's kind of how it is. And I'm not saying everyone's got the same amount of time in a day. I saw someone the other day put a video on having a real go at people for not doing steps. I'm not going to talk about the account directly because I don't want to trigger people. In a way, the way they come across, it just winds me up at times. But on the other hand, what they are saying is true, because there were people in the comments going, well, I work 15-hour shifts. So how do I get I literally start shift at 7 in the morning and I finish my shift at 10 o'clock at night. And straight away I'm like, right, well, by law, you can only work 40 odd hours a week. So that means you work 3 days a week. What do you do on the other 4? Now, again, this person that was having to go at people not doing steps, whether they take my philosophy where you look at averages, because that's where I'd be literally like, right, okay. So let's say while you're doing your 3 maximum 15-hour shifts a week, because you won't really do any more than that, right? Right? You can do 5,000 steps a day that day because for whatever reason, that's 15,000 steps. 10,000 steps a day on average is 70,000 over a week, which is, so your 4 days off, you need to do 55,000 steps. You need to do 13,000 steps a day. You've got 4 days off. And if you're 3 15-hour shifts a week, you're only doing 5. It's not a physical job. It's a sitting on your bottom job. So if you sat on your bottom for 3 days, you should be more than happy for the next 4 days to get off your bottom and stretch your legs and move around. And you've got the time to do it because you've got 4 days off. Even if you've got children, right? If they are children that are under 4 or 5, stick them in a pram, go for a walk, right? And if your watch doesn't pick up steps because you're holding onto a pram, 1,000 steps is about 9 minutes of movement. So if you go for a half-hour walk, you've done at least 3,000 steps. Right? Do that twice a day. That's 6,000 steps. And the other pottering about, you've topped it up. So it's just about managing your time and the want to do it sometimes, Now, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be some abnormalities out there. And there are people out there that physically can't do that many steps. I always say that when I'm talking about steps. If you can physically do it, because there are people out there with mobility issues that can't, and I work with loads of clients that are like that, right? So we have to take that into account, but it can be done if you want to do it. It really, really can. Very rare I eat bread. I eat bread. I think I eat some variety of bread every day, whether it's a flat bread or normal sliced bread, or it's a wrap. I'd class a wrap as a variety of bread in a way. I eat it every day. I absolutely flipping love it. Currently doing OMAD and having low-calorie snacks throughout the day. You're not doing OMAD then? Well, you are, but you're not. OMAD is when it's one meal a day. OMAD is actually an hour eating window, right? So if you're not doing OMAD, you're having one main meal a day, and then your other calorie consumption but that's not OMAD. That's like, someone might be like, yeah, I just have chicken and I just have my tea, but then through the day, I'll have a bit of this for my breakfast, I'll have a bit of fruit for my lunch, and I'll have a protein shake for my dinner. You're still eating throughout the day. So yeah, that's not officially OMAD. I don't know what we'd officially call it. Probably an unhealthy way to look at eating patterns. In a way, it's disordered eating. Because you might think by just having one big meal a day, I'm doing, well, why? How many calories is your one big meal? How many calories are in your snacks? Add all that together, divide it by 3, and eat 3 nice meals throughout the day. Right, let me scan up. I go shopping every day. I do actually. I nip into Aldi most days. It's a convenience store, isn't it, Aldi? And I pass Aldi every day going past the gym, and sometimes I just nip in just to have a mooch around because it changes all the time. And sometimes it's just something I fancy. I do. And do you know what? Just parking up, nipping in Aldi for 5 minutes or so gets 500 steps in. So yeah, I tend to nip in Aldi every day. We don't really do online shopping. Every now and then we'll do an Ocado order for my mum. My mum loves an Ocado order. She loves M&S, and we don't really go to M&S that much. And if we do an Ocado order for my mum, Rachel will stick a few M&S bits in there. But yeah, I go shopping all the time. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. When I go, I always park really far away to get more steps in. Yeah, absolutely. Great little tactics. Go to the supermarket. Go Tesco Extra. Stop being that person that drives around that little circle right at the front of the store to park as close as you can. Park at the back of the car park. It's empty. You can just drive straight in, and it just gets you an extra few. Again, let's say by parking at the back of the car park, it's 250 steps into the store. Right? If you go shopping once, it's 250 there, it's 250 back. That's 500. You go shopping once a week, right? Just something as simple as that, it increases your step count by 25,000 a week, but a year, 25, 30,000 a year, right? And again, how many little things can you do that can increase your step count by 30,000 a year? If you can do 5 different things, that's another 150,000 steps a year, right? That increases, some people's, 1,000 steps is about, again, this is all very averagey, but 1,000 steps can be anything between 20 and 50 calories burned. So let's say you go in the middle at 35 calories, right? And you're doing another 150,000 steps, right? That's increasing your calorie burn for another couple of pounds of fat loss. Yeah. Let me. No, I get my mum part furthest away. Yeah, absolutely, and it just does you good, I'm struggling with the scales. I'm 100% on plan. Minimum 10,000, 2 litres of water, but the scales are going up. Claire, when you say the scales are going up, like I always, time is the big thing when we look at something like this. So are you weighing yourself daily? Are you weighing yourself weekly? Have you been 100% on plan, minimum 10,000 steps, 2 litres of water since Monday? So on Monday, I weighed myself and they've gone up Tuesday, they've gone up Wednesday, right? Or are you like, no, I've been doing this for 2 months now. And when I started, I was £200 and I'm now £204. Right, give me a time frame. Yeah. Let me scale up. I have mobility issues, but I do have good days where I do make the most of it and get my steps in. Yeah, and again, this is the thing with, I have mobility issues. I'm riddled with arthritis in the lower of my body, and I've just learned to manage it. So I'm not saying everyone can do that, but some people have certain things. Like I work with a lot of clients that have fibromyalgia, and what I've learned from fibro is from doing this job for a lot of years. People have flares with it. So some days it's not saying that every day it doesn't affect people in a certain way, but every day it's bad. Every day it's there, but certain days are worse than others. And days that are decent, right? Make the most of it. Get your steps in. Days where you've got a bit of a flare up and it's not great, those are the days you might need to chill your beans a little bit. One common trend with fibro, and I've worked with lots and lots and lots and lots of clients that have had it. My clients that are consistent with their weight loss journey, improving their overall diet, working it improves to where, look, we have to be honest with ourselves. Weight issues and overall diet do cause a lot of issues in the body. And I've had several clients that have got to their goal weight, right, improve their overall diet, improve their movement, and their fibro's gone. Their fibro's gone. I had so many issues in my body when I was 37 stone, right? Where I was 37 stone, yeah? And I've not took any medication for them. I've not done anything. They have just naturally cleared up from losing my weight, getting healthier and fitter. Psoriasis was one. I used to have 50% body coverage of psoriasis, right? I used to get it in my nose. My ears was full of it. I used to have it under my eyes here. I used to have it coming down to my forehead here. I've spoke about this. This is why I wear caps all the time, because I used to have psoriasis that used to come down to the middle of my forehead, and I was very self-conscious of it. So I used to wear a cap so people couldn't see it, right? I used to have it all over my arms here, right? All over my arms here, all over the back of my calves, over my knees. It used to cover my body. 50% body coverage of psoriasis. There is no cure for psoriasis, there's some treatments that can help it and improve it. Lost my weight, disappeared ish. I still have a little patch there and a little bit there, right? When I was 37 stone, from about here all the way to here was covered in it, right? And I've still got a little patch there and a little patch there, and I still have a little patch there, right? And then I have little bits here and here. Other than that, psoriasis has disappeared. I don't have it anymore. And there's no known cure to it, but it is linked to things like unhealthy diets, obesity, and I've just improved things. My psoriasis is gone. Lots of other issues as well. Was always ill. Colds, rundown, someone, if I went to get my hair cut and someone sneezed next to me, I'm like, that's going to be me ill for a week. And it was, right? Now I'm never ill. I always say this, and the next thing I'll be ill. But when I say I'm never ill, I can't actually remember a time where I'm ill. I never can remember a time when I'm ill, right? Obviously, once or twice a year, the odd cold here or there, but it never knocks me up. I got COVID 3 times, asymptomatic. Now you might be like, well, you were just lucky, Neil, right? And I only knew I had COVID because Rachel got it 3 times and was quite poorly with it, right? I used to test at the same time and I had it. Never. At one time I got COVID, I had a bit of a sniffle. Felt like I had maybe a cold coming on. That was it, right? And I fully believe it's not luck. I fully believe it's because, when Rachel got it, she wasn't the healthiest she could have been. She wasn't. Rachel's been on a big weight loss journey for the last over 12 months now. She's lost nearly 5 stone in weight. She's eating much healthier, much more controlled, prioritizing her exercise and steps. I can't even tell you last time. Rachel used to be ill all the time. She got a cold actually a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks ago. Bit of a sniffle. Day it lasted. Day and a half gone. And I'm like, I said, this time 2 years ago, you get a cold, you were knackered for a week. She was like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, it's the way you're living your lifestyle. It really, really is. Let me scan up. I was always ill when I was bigger too. Yeah, it's such a common thing. It's such a common thing. It's increasing every day since the 24th of May. Thank you. It was banging 2 weeks ago. Right. So it's too short a time, Claire, to look into it. Right. We get fluctuations on the scales for lots of reasons. So I don't know how long you've been on your weight loss journey, but if someone here has been consistently losing weight for maybe since Christmas, say, and then just the last couple of weeks, I've changed nothing, everything's bang on, but I've just noticed the scales are creeping up, right? It's too short soon a time to look into it because we get these fluctuations all the time. And could you be having daily fluctuations where things are just creeping? Possibly. Did you have a false positive a couple of weeks ago? Did you have like a weigh-in where you were 7 pounds lighter and it was just like, you don't question it, do you? And you're like, yeah, I had this massive drop. You've just caught the scales at the wrong time and your body's averaging itself out. You might have been ill for a week and you've hardly eaten anything, right? So your water weight, your food weight in your body is massively reduced. Now you started eating again, that started improving. Now, if we notice things aren't doing what we want them to do for 4 weeks or more, and this is the time frame you've got to wait, right? Then you've changed something. So Claire there saying, so if Claire comes to me and goes after the 24th of June and goes from the 24th of May to the 24th of June, I'm 4 pounds heavier, things have just been creeping up. I've hardly seen any sort of losses whatsoever, but I'm bang on plan, 10,000 steps a day, drinking 2 litres. You're not. Something's changed. You've changed something. Something's going wrong somewhere. Now, you can't really lie about your steps, right? Because your watch tells you. One thing that we can lie about subconsciously, I'm not telling you that you're purposely lying. I know a lot of people get, I'm not lying, I am on. Bear with me. We change our accountability, we change our accuracy with tracking calories. And it can happen subconsciously. Little slips, little chinks in the armor, right? Where it's, in March when things were going great, you were pre-tracking. You were like, right, what we're having for lunch? Let me get it in my app. Right, I'm having this, and this. Oh, I can't have this, and this. I can only have this and this. So let's not have the third thing. Right, now you're tracking at night time. How many of you guys are tracking like this? How many of you guys are eating throughout the day and then at night time you're getting on the sofa or you're getting in bed and go, oh, I've not tracked my calories today. Right. You'll be so inaccurate. You'll try and look back and remember what you've eaten. And I guarantee your main meals will be right. Your main meals won't be a million miles away. Now, if you've not weighed, right, and you've gone, oh, I had cereal, I didn't weigh them out, I just had a bowl of cereal, you could be way out. But if you were, no, I've weighed my food, I put it in, I can remember it. But it's all the little bits in between that can creep in. And you forget about them. You forget about those couple of biscuits, them couple of Werther's originals that were in the bowl at work, right? You forget about the fish finger that was left on your kid's tea and you stuck that down your gullet, right? So, if you are, and I've been into, and I can say this because I've done it myself. I've been through periods where every night, I need to track my calories today. How accurate is that, right? Guarantee it's not as accurate as sitting there and tracking your calories in a morning. What am I eating today? or before you're about to eat something, get it in your app. If it isn't in your app, it doesn't go in your trap. Yeah. So there's lots of things we can look into. Milk and coffee used to do me. Yeah, loads of people like, I'll start looking month to month. Thank you. Not a problem at all, Clay. You've got it. Honestly, we can't start jumping at things too soon, right? Because too many things can happen over short periods of time. Consistent weight loss is about what we do over periods of time. It's not about what happens week on week. And I know it's frustrating. And I know people look for answers, but this is where people like they don't lose any weight for a week, and next thing they're trying to eat 200 calories a day less, and it's like, do you really need to do that? Because your body hasn't changed in your body won't really change in 6 months, right? From like calorie burn and stuff, you know. If you lose 3 stone in 6 months, you're burning 150 calories less a day. If you're in a 500 calorie a day deficit, yeah, your losses might be slightly less, but you'll still be seeing consistent fat loss, right? So, too many people jump to things too soon. Like I say, I know it's frustrating, and I know we want to lose weight yesterday, not tomorrow. But unfortunately, as the old saying goes, patience is a virtue. Kato's glucose goddess way of thinking sent me into a spiral of trying just too hard and not hard. She's absolutely clickbait. She's missed clickbait. She's absolutely terrible, some of the stuff she comes out with. Morning, boss. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Lise. Morning from Glorious Turkey. Hope you're having a lovely time, Lise. If anyone wants to know if you want to plan a barbecue or anything like that in the UK, or you're desperate for the sunshine to come back, the 21st of June to the 28th of June, the weather in this country is going to be absolutely sensational. It'll be 2021 every day, no rain. Plan your barbecues, enjoy yourself. I'll tell you why, because I'm going on holiday. And every time I go on holiday, the weather is always amazing in this country. I went to Fuengirola first few days of May. Yeah. First day I got in Fuengirola, it absolutely lashed it down. Yeah. It was 26 degrees here. There you go. So, yeah, if anyone's planning a barbecue, and there's nothing better than being on holiday in a blazing hot country when the weather in this country is shocking. So Lisa, the weather here is shocking, so I hope you're having a great time. Patience is a virtue. What was that? Often in a woman, seldom in a man. Is that a saying? You've been a bit sexist there, Denise. Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, patience is a virtue. There's so many sayings that, like old-fashioned sayings that are so relative when it comes to a weight loss journey. Patience is a virtue. As a coach, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Rome wasn't built in a day. All these sayings, they're absolutely, so bob on when it comes to a weight loss journey. Going from 2 to 300 steps to 3 to 4,000 steps this week make me gain weight. Not really. Like, when you say gain weight, like if you you're going from you were doing 2 to 300 steps a day, Jen, to 3 to 4,000. Like 2 to 300 steps a day. Did you ever go to the top? You do more than 2 to 300 steps a day. It's going for a wee. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not questioning it. You might have mobility issues, but I'm like, so many people that do. I've worked with people that are 40 stone and they do at least 1,000 steps a day. But anyway, will you gain weight from it, Jen? Your body adapting to an increase in movement can put it under pressure. And certainly if you have been extremely sedentary, which 2 to 300 steps is, right, and you're then going up to more movement, could that cause maybe a little bit of swelling in joints, in muscles? Possibly. It won't cause fat gain because fat gain's calories, right? Can it cause weight gain? Could you see that on the scales? Possibly. Is it enough to counterbalance fat loss on the scales? Possibly not. I don't know how big a deficit you're going into. I don't know how much you currently weigh. But like Laura's put there, absolutely. I don't think it is an absolute no. It like I say, the only weight gain from increasing steps from being extremely sedentary to moving a bit more is, like I say, maybe a little bit of water retention, swelling in joints and muscles can cause a little bit of water retention. How much? Not stupid amounts, even if you're quite overweight and you're pushing your body. there's no guarantees that it will, and it depends how often you're weighing, because your body can adapt pretty quickly, especially if you're just going up to 3,000 to 4,000 steps. So I was very limited steps. I have heart failure, fair enough. But now on medication, I'm trying to increase activity. Okay. So, Jen, you don't have to answer this. Are you overweight? And as part of increasing your daily steps, are you also trying to eat a bit less, go into a calorie deficit, go on a bit of a diet? Yeah. You know, um, let me scan down. I really wanted to binge yesterday after maintaining for 2 weeks, but I didn't. Fantastic. And it is, learning self-control and having willpower in the body to fight things like is amazing. It's a big non-scale victory, Where do I start to track? Simple, but I'm so daft and it confuses me. Okay, Jody. Best thing to do, use NutriCheck. It is the most user-friendly calorie counting app that is out there. Enter your calories into NutriCheck. Don't use NutriCheck to calculate your calories. It's not very good. It's fantastic for tracking calories. It's not very good for calculating calories. If you want your calorie breakdown, come join my community. I will give you your right calories that you should be on. It's £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. You can use a free online calorie calculator, of course, but you need to take them with a big pinch of salt because they're not very good at calculating calories. Something like tdecalculator.net would be better than NutriCheck or MyFitnessPal, but still, you're probably going to be around 60% accuracy. Yeah, whereas I'm about 90-95%. But it's entirely up to you. If you don't want to chuck a fiver in and you want to go with an online, do that. Stick those calories into NutriCheck. Keep your eating simple. Don't overcomplicate things, right? If you're at the start of your weight loss journey, you've never tracked calories before, the last thing you want to be doing is tracking things with 45 ingredients in them, right? So keep it really simple. Beans on toast, beans, butter, bread. 3 things. Dead easy, you might just go and get a salad pack from Aldi and a bit of chicken or something like, there's lots of different really keep your eating as simple as possible anyway, right? There's no need to overcomplicate things. But if you're in your first week of tracking and you're making homemade fancy pasta dishes, which you can do, they probably taste delicious and you can make them quite calorie controlled, but homemade pasta dishes and this, that, and the other, with lots of different ingredients, you're just going to be making things a bit more confusing. So just certainly for the first few weeks, keep your eating really, really simple. Meat and 2 veg, chicken breast, a few new potatoes, bit of broccoli on the side, bit of gravy. Dead simple, Try and look at a meal and go, look, if it's got more than 4 things in it or 5 things in it, that's not what I want to be doing. And then just, it's like learning anything. You've just got to be consistent with it. And the more consistent you are with it, the more you use the app and this, that, and the other, the more it'll become second nature. Can be a bit of a slowly catch your monkey thing. Hoping steps might help, but weight going up a few pounds since starting more steps. Yeah, so Jen, honestly, why your weight might be going up you might be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. Our weight fluctuates on a daily basis anyway, and it could be nothing to do with your steps. It could be to do with dehydration. Are you drinking a bit more because you're increasing your movement? If the answer is no, not really, right, well, the steps might be causing dehydration, and that might be causing a little bit of extra water retention. It also could just be circumstance. It could be, if it's Thursday today, if you started increasing your steps on Monday, right, then, and you could wait tomorrow and see a loss and go, oh, well, now I'm losing weight. Is that, yes, or is it just a standard fluctuation? Did you weigh yourself? I mean, I would weigh yourself daily. I just wouldn't look into it. And again, it's how you're doing your steps. If you're going from 2 to 300 steps a day to 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day, I assume you're not going out and doing 4,000 steps in one go. Again, that would put more pressure on the body that might increase water retention. Whereas if you're trying to do it in little pockets where you're trying to do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, that isn't going to put that much stress on the body. So in turn, that probably isn't going to create a massive amount of excess water retention. So if this is over a short period of time, Jen, don't look into it too much, right? And this is where a lot of people get very, well, I'll stop doing steps then because I'm gaining weight. You might be gaining weight, you're not gaining fat. And like I say, is it just a daily fluctuation or is it something else? So I just wouldn't look into it too much. Just work on increasing those steps. Obviously, you've taken medical advice because you've been put on this medication and they possibly told you to start increasing your movement. Even when people have had heart failure and stuff like that, there's not many doctors out there that, they're not going to say go and jump on a spin bike or go running or anything like that. But most doctors, just to improve for heart health and heart strength, would definitely recommend an increase in movement. So yeah, I just wouldn't look too much. I just wouldn't look too much into it. Slower weight loss and taking collagen may help, but it's out of our control. Oh, what's that? What's someone asking there? How can I slow it down? What's this? How can I change my mindset? I find myself getting too overwhelmed and quitting. Yeah, weight loss can be overwhelming. And this is I've got to go in a minute, but this is like, I could literally, do you know what? I do take things, I do take inspiration for questions for doing like certain podcasts and certain lives, and that is a really good one. So I'm going to write that down, and I might cover it in a podcast. So changing, I'm just going to call it stopping weight loss becoming overwhelming, and it can be. It really, really can, and I think why weight loss becomes there's a lot of things why weight loss becomes overwhelming. One contributing factor is we don't know what to believe. There's too much misinformation out there. So we get people telling us you can't eat carbs, and we get people like Slimming World telling us we can eat as many carbs as we want. We get people saying it's nothing to do with, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. Then we get people telling you you can, right? You get people telling you, all sorts of nonsense. So we don't know where to turn. So it's like, well, can I have pasta? Can I not have pasta? Can I have this? Can I not have this? Can I do that? Can I do the other? So, we feel like we're getting pulled from pillar to post a lot of the time on our weight loss journey. And, other things that can get overwhelming with weight loss can be the thought of dieting. Again, very unhealthy relationships with food, very unhealthy relationships with weight loss, depending on the approach you're taking. How many of you guys, when you start a diet on a Monday, treat the weekend like it's the Last Supper because you want to eat all this food because you can't eat it while dieting, right? And it's just nonsense. So we sit there going like, I did this for years. Like, you sit there and in the end, it's like, I've got to eat this type of food. I can't eat this type of food. I'm never going to be able to eat pizza again. I'm never going to be able to enjoy a Mackey's again. And then you can be sat, so that can become really overwhelming. Life can become overwhelming because we feel we can't enjoy life. How many of you guys now are sat there needing to lose weight, wanting to lose weight, but you're like, it's pointless because I've got a holiday next week. After that, I've got my best friend's hen do, then her wedding, then I've got this. I'll just start it in September. So life can become overwhelming because no weight loss method other than mine, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think there is. There's very few weight loss methods out there teach you how to navigate life while losing weight. I always say this, if you choose weight loss or life, you're going to fail at both because if it's just weight loss, you're not going to enjoy life. And if you just choose life, you're going to stay overweight. So, life can become overwhelming. How do I go on holiday? How do I do this? How do I do that? It's just pointless. So that can become overwhelming. Other things that can become overwhelming with weight loss is goals, target, especially the more you've got to lose. If you're sat there now and you're like, I've got 200 pounds to lose, just thinking about it becomes really overwhelming. When the reality is, you're successful on your weight loss journey. Every pound you lose, you're changing things. Every stone you lose, stop thinking about the end goal. I always use the analogy of, if you want to drive from here to the south of France, you're literally like, bloody hell, that's a long way, isn't it? And I'm like, well, no, let's break the journey down into manageable pieces. Let's drive from here to Calais, where we get the ferry, and we'll stay over in Calais. It's only a few hours. We'll have a night in Calais. Then we'll get, we'll go across from Calais on the ferry. We can chill out then. And then, we've got a 10-hour drive across France. Do you know what? I've always wanted to see this region. Why don't we do a night there on the way down? It's only a 4-hour drive. We'll stop over, find some food, have a bit of a chill out, rest up, and then the next day tackle the rest of the journey. Breaking it up into manageable chunks where we don't. We just sit there thinking about, this is what I currently weigh and this is what I want to get to. And again, it can become overwhelming, especially if you put everything else into it. You're like, it's going to take me 2 years to get to my goal weight. So what do I do for the next 2 years? Not go on holiday, not enjoy a wedding, not enjoy Christmas, not enjoy my birthday, not eat a pizza. And then you put all that together, and in the end, you just go, F this, I'll just stay fat. Right, so there's lots of different factors to it. So maybe I'll do maybe that can be a podcast. I've lost 168 pounds. Wow, that is amazing, Jen. And it's so overwhelming at the start, but it's one day at a time. That's how I look at it. 100%. Take it a day at a time. Take it a week at a time. Take it a month at a time. And that's something I realized on my weight loss journey. I was 37 stone, and at the time I did look at BMI scales, and it said I needed to be 14 stone, and I'm like, I've got to lose 23 stone. I've never lost more than a couple of stone at a time in my life. How am I going to lose 23 stone? But as I got into my weight loss journey, and you started looking at non-scale victories and going from a 6XL to a 5XL to a 4XL to a 3XL, you feel how much you are improving, right? When you start realizing, I'm nowhere near 14 stone, but I don't need an extender belt on a plane anymore. Non-scale victory, amazing, right? I used to struggle to get out of bed most days. Now I can get out of bed every single day without any issues. Again, it's all these little things along the journey, and that is something that, don't think about the end goal being success. You'll be successful 100 times before you even get to your end goal. Anyway, I'll do a podcast on it. I will do a bit of a podcast on it. I was nearly 31 stone. I'm now 18 stone 11. Jen, you've absolutely saved your life. Is this from, Jen, you having your, what was your kickstart point? A lot of people ask that. And just because this is Jen's kickstart point doesn't mean it's yours. A lot of people ask me, what was my kickstart point? Did you suffer heart failure and that was like your wake-up call to sort things out? Or have you suffered that along the journey, and then I'm going. Anyway, let me scan up and see what's going on. We can lose 29 pounds until Christmas, £1 a week. Absolutely. You can. Anyone watching this now, you come on plan with me and take my plan on board. You can be at least 2 stone down by Christmas, right? And if you've got a holiday booked, and that's still enjoying a holiday, still enjoying your birthday if you've not had it yet, still enjoying christenings over summer, I will teach you how to do it all. I'm not going to sit here and go, you can go and smash this up, smash that up. You can go and get pissed every weekend and you can lose. No, I'll teach you how to navigate it, how to prioritize, how to look at things, how to change weekly structures so you can enjoy a more calorie dense weekend and still lose weight that week. That is what my plan's all about. If you want to go on board with me, we're struggling for Monday. I have got only 2 people signed up on Monday, and I have written their plan, so I'm a bit ahead of the game. If you sign up today and get your consultation form over before 4 o'clock, tight, I'll get you started on Monday. I'm not writing any plans tomorrow because it's busy check-in day and it's the end of the Boss Your Weight Loss Challenge, which it'll take me forever to sort that. I'll be working till 11 o'clock tomorrow night probably, which is fine. That's part of my job. If you sign up after dinner time today, I'll get you going a week on Monday, which will be the 16th of June. But if you want to be 2 stone lighter by Christmas, at least get on plan and we'll sort it out. TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page, click on my link tree. You can just click. There's a link in my link tree. I've set up a little shop now in my link tree where you can click on. What can you click on? You can click on sign up, one-to-one plan, sign up. Get signed up and we'll get you going. Like I say, if you sign up now and get your consultation form back, I'll get you started on Monday. We'll get you going and you can get straight at it. Yeah? So, no messing. All right? The longer you wait, the longer you're going to be like, I wish I'd started sooner. So let's get you going now. Right, guys, I am going. I am not on. I'm not on later on today. I am for you guys. If you do join my plan, if you're currently on my plan, or you are just a member of my community, we're back at 5 o'clock today with the second of this week's Weight Loss Coaching Lives. I'm just having a look now to see. I can't remember what topic we are doing tonight. Today's Weight Loss Coaching Live. How to keep weight loss as sustainable as possible. So all you people that stick to your diets for 2 weeks and then fall off the wagon, as the saying goes, this one is for you. I'm going to talk today about how, whatever you're doing today to lose weight, you'll still be doing it in 12 months' time. All right? So come, Jen, if you want help with your weight loss journey, it's what I do. I'm a weight loss coach. It's based on my own plan of losing, 265 pounds. I was 37 stone. I'm currently 18 and a bit. So if you would like some help on your journey, come get signed up. It's just $29.99 to sign up to my one-to-one plan. And then there is a monthly subscription to pay, but it's not a lot of money at all to get the support you need to boss your weight loss. Right, I'm out of here. TikTok, I'm signing off to you first. I'll be back tomorrow morning about 11 a.m. For the next TikTok live. So have a wonderful Thursday. If I don't see you later on, if you're not on board with me, I'll see you in the morning if you're free. And you amazing people, again, over here, TikTok. No, not TikTok. What are you doing? YouTube, Facebook. I won't be back again today. Join my community, join my plan. You can come in and we've got that weight loss coaching live about sustainability of weight loss at 5 o'clock. So you can come and watch that. If you are in my community or on plan with me, if you can't make the live times, they are saved back to the Facebook group and they are also set into a private playlist in YouTube. A private YouTube playlist where you can watch them back whenever you want on your TV, on your iPad. So you don't have to just join the lives. You can watch them back whenever you want as well. Anyway, if I don't see you later on, I will be back at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. So have a great Thursday.